comic geeks and all the nerds in between. My name is Megan, and I am here today to break down another character. And of course, it is a mutant because I love them. And this is one that I feel is underrated because the Cyclops of it all, if you catch my drift. So, who is Havok? Havok's first appearance was in X-Men number 54 as Alex Summers, but his first appearance as Havok was in X-Men number 58. He was created by Arnold Drake and Don Heck, which is a great name, Don Heck. Alexander Summers, better known as Havok, was the middle child of Major Christopher Summers, a U.S. Air Force test pilot, and Catherine Summers. He had two brothers. Older brother Scott, who is Cyclops, as you may know, and his younger brother Gabriel, who is Vulcan. All three turned out to be mutants, which is wild. When Scott and Alex were kids, the family plane was suddenly attacked mid-flight by a Shi'ar scout ship. The jet caught fire. With only one parachute left, their mom strapped it to Scott and Alex and pushed them out. The chute caught fire on the way down, and Scott instinctively used his optic blast for the first time to slow their fall. What the boys didn't know was that their parents had been teleported off the plane by the Shi'ar just before it exploded. Scott hit his head during the landing and damaging the part of his brain that would have let him control his powers. Both boys developed traumatic amnesia. After a short hospital stay, they were sent to the State Home for Foundlings in Omaha, Nebraska, secretly ran by Mr. Sinister under the alias Mr. Milbury. Sinister experimented on them and decided Scott had way more potential, so he had Alex adopted out to emotionally isolate Scott. Sinister wanted to isolate Scott so bad that he actually took out some adoptees that were interested in Scott. So, there's that. Alex was taken in by Andrew and Mrs. Blanding, whose son Todd had recently died. They pressured Alex to basically replace Todd, which is weird. Years later, when Todd's killer kidnapped Alex and his foster sister Haley, Alex's mutant powers finally surfaced. He incinerated the man. Sinister showed up, impressed that Alex might actually surpass Scott in raw potential. Since Alex could not control his powers, Sinister placed psychic blocks on him and Haley so they'd forget the whole thing. Meanwhile, Apocalypse got involved in his own twisted way. He had Sinister splice modified samples of Alex's DNA into a man named Ahmet Abdul. The experiment created a weird split power connection between them. Abdul became the living pharaoh, started a cult, and tried to conquer the world. Which, yeah, that's always there. It's always like, I want to conquer the world. It's like, it seems like so much work. As an adult, Alex had no idea Scott was Cyclops until after graduating with a degree in geophysics. Abdul discovered their psychic link and realized Alex's body was blocking his own cosmic energy abilities. He kidnapped Alex, shielded him from the cosmic radiation, and transformed into the giant living monolith. During the fight with the X-Men, Alex's powers finally fully emerged. But since he couldn't control the plasma blasts erupting from him, he chose to stay in Egypt rather than join him. That did not last. He was captured by Sentinels, brought to Larry Trask, who gave him the codename Havok and a special suit to regulate his cosmic energy. After getting badly injured and nearly drained by Dr. Kyle Lycos, who transformed into Sauron, Alex finally joined Scott at Xavier's school to train properly. Myra McTaggart helped run tests on him, because it always goes back to Myra. At the mansion, Alex fell hard for Lorna Dane, who is Polaris, and who is one of my favorite mutants of all time. Her and Nightcrawler are my two. After fighting aliens like the Xenox and adventures in the Savage Land, Havok eventually gained real control over his powers. He and Lorna left the X-Men to pursue grad school, but got brainwashed by the Shi'ar agent Eric the Red and nearly assassinated Xavier before being freed. Over time, Alex's life just kept getting messier. He battled the living monolith again, fought Proteus, helped rescue people from Murder World. and reunited with his father, now the space pirate Corsair, leader of the Starjammers, which I always get a kick out of the name Starjammers. I don't know why. He even stood as Scott's best man at his wedding to Madeline Pryor, who was secretly a Jean Grey clone created by Sinister. Later, during the Mutant Massacre era, Alex got pulled back into X-Men affairs. Polaris was possessed by malice and turned against him. Madeline, spiraling after learning she was a clone, seduced Alex in his vulnerable state. She eventually became the Goblin Queen and launched a demonic invasion of New York, and Havok manipulated into being her Goblin Prince. She died during the chaos, which is a shame. I liked her. But she is still, she's back in the comics now, though. So it's cool. Alex tried to move on, but he was constantly manipulated by villains like Dr. Neutron, by Dark Beast, who brainwashed him, and even by alternate reality versions of himself. At one point, a time machine explosion sent his consciousness into another universe where he was married to an alternate Madeline and had a son named Scotty, which is weird. It's all weird. He eventually returned to his own world, only to call off his wedding to Lorna at the altar because he'd fallen for his nurse, Annie, which is trashy. Reality shifts, possession, mental splits followed. After Scarlet Witch's no more mutants situation, Polaris lost her powers. Apocalypse returned, and Vulcan resurfaced, killing their father and going to war with the Shi'ar Empire. Alex joined a space mission to stop him. Vulcan blasted him into a sun, but Alex absorbed enough energy to come back and fight. Eventually, he and the Starjammers were imprisoned and tortured before escaping. Back on Earth, Alex led the X Factor, fought in the Avengers vs. X-Men war, and after Cyclops fell, Captain America chose Havok to lead the Avengers Unity Squad as a symbol of mutant-human unity. During a battle with King, half of Alex's face was horribly burned. And that's what you get for leaving Polaris at the altar. Then came the Red Skull crisis and the Axis inversion spell, which twisted personalities, including Alex's. He briefly went dark, sided with questionable allies, and struggled to figure out which version of himself was the real one. Eventually, Polaris helped restore him fully, even healing the scars. After more battles, sacrifices, and yet another apparent death fighting Sentinels, Alex was resurrected on Krakoa through the mutant resurrection protocols. He moved into the summer house on the moon with his extended Summers family. But even on Krakoa, peace did not stick. He had violent breakdowns, was assigned to Mr. Sinister's unstable Hellions team, got manipulated again, and struggled with unresolved feelings for Madeline Pryor, who the Quiet Council initially refused to resurrect. After multiple missions, deaths, resurrections, betrayals, and psychological spirals, he finally got to see Madeline alive again, but she needed space from the Summers drama, which I feel is really fair, actually. Eventually, he resumed a relationship with her and moved to her Limbo embassy in New York. During Orcus's anti-mutant attacks, Alex helped rescue mutants worldwide, until he was taken out again by a robotic Wolverine duplicate. Madeline resurrected him as a zombie to keep him safe, and when he discovered she'd intentionally kept him that way, he still used his last breath to protect her. She finally restored him fully, and he chose to walk away. Through alien wars, reality shifts, brainwashing, family betrayals, cosmic prison breaks, political leadership, and multiple resurrections, Alex Summers has constantly struggled with identity, living in his brother's shadow, the Cyclops of it all, fighting his own darker impulses and trying to decide who Havok really is. Which, he's a good character. He has many layers, and I'd like to see more of him in the coming comics, but he was an X Factor, and he was with Lorna then, but I believe that run is ended, so nothing since, but I'd like to see more of him. So yeah, that's Havok. That's Alex Summers. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you will like and subscribe, and I hope you have a marvelous day.